All right, how's it going, everyone? This is yours truly, Cameron Fry, Flash Weather coming at you. It's 9 p.m. Friday night, January 12th, and we have quite the winter storm on the way to discuss. We're going to break it down the next 5 minutes. I have my three amigos that are going to help me tonight. My Cameron Fry Funko Pop, arguably the most underrated character from the Claymation Rudolph, and my favorite, the Juju Snowman that the wonderful nurses at Vanderbilt put together. This would have been almost 2 years ago. Actually, no, 2 years ago. So I've had this at my desk, and I brought it home with me so that we can cut this loom together. So let's start off by looking at Tropical Tidbits, as we always do, just because I like the animation. We can look at the latest GFS, the 18Z. The 0Z will initialize in about an hour, but this is the latest run that I have available at my disposal. And you could see we have healthy moisture return. You see the explosion largely due to a area of low pressure that will be forming near the coast, the Gulf of Mexico coastline. And placement will be key, but models have come into agreement the last 24 hours. It looks like it's going to ride that coast and then track east-northeast. Some model runs were showing, out to Cape Hatteras by Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Either way, we're more focused on where this low of pressure system is going to initialize. And right now it looks favorable for most of Middle Tennessee to score some wintry precipitation, not just due to the low placement, but also because of this cold air. And if you go out in time, you could see just how strong these cold heights coming down the pike are behind the cold front. We have plenty of moisture that will be in place before and even after the cold front moves through. But look at that 1033 high there this is valid for 0Z Wednesday, January 17th. That's very cold air. That high pressure is hugging the Red River, and that's going to bring some very cold temps. We're talking single digits early Tuesday, early Wednesday morning. So one thing's for sure, it's going to be brutally cold next week. So let's look at the Kuchera snow totals. We're not going to do 10 to 1 ratios. The air is so cold, it's going to really inflate ratios out to 15 to 20 to 1. So if you want to factor in more realistic snow total probabilities, the Kuchera, I think that's how you pronounce it, that ratio is going to be better for us because it accounts warm noses, any mixing that occurs, even though it's not going to happen in this case. We're not going to have any icing with this event. The Kuchera model is better when okay, this is probably not going to be a 10 to 1 rain to snow ratio here. So 48 hours, you don't see anything, but look at 72 hours. This is the same 18Z GFS model we were looking at a few moments ago. The access is generally, actually, the heaviest snow totals are south of 40. However, if we look at the NAM, the 0Z NAM that just initialized last 30 minutes, they have the heavier snow totals north of 40. So it's kind of like, what gives? These are our primary American models. If you look at the national blend of models, which includes the European, you could see it really hugs 40. So Nashville, we're doing very well. Memphis, you're doing very well. Even area south of Memphis. If we go to the Euro real quick, I note that that's also had, it's had more southerly tracks. And if we can go to 18Z, I'll try to do that. I don't know if it's going to let me. I think only the 12Z is going to really show. And that's okay. You could see that the Euro is more friendly to our friends in East Tennessee. All that being said, I'm going off of the national blend of models for the time being. That's the best way to go. So it's like pick your model of choice, but you could see whether you're talking about the GFS, the NAM, the Euro, the national blend, almost all of Tennessee's in the game. So that's encouraging. Davis Nolan, he did have this graphic that just released 3 to 6. You can see he's using 40 as a dividing line. If you're south and east of 40, you're in the 3 to 6 range outside the upper limb plateau. I think this will be a storm system that's friendly to the plateau in East Tennessee, whereas Northwest Middle, you might see lower totals, just lighter moisture returns, and I think there's going to be heavier fetch. And if there's going to be a trial, it's probably going to be in this 3 to 6 inch range. I don't really buy it. I think that's going to shift a little to north and west. You could see how WPC is really buying the national blend of models, and you could see the probability of more than 4 inches of snow there. So, and the plume view is also really good. You could see 3 to 4 inches for BNA on average. So all that to say, I think that the best way to calibrate expectations is to assume that if you are in Western Middle Tennessee along I-40, you're in a good shape to, definitely decent probabilities, likely probabilities at this point to receive 1 to 2 inches of snow, perhaps 3 to 4 plus. I think that if you're sitting in Southern Middle Tennessee, it's probably the place to be. That's just my gut feeling. Although I think all of Middle Tennessee is in play to get multiple inches of snow, whether it's 2 to 4, 3 to 5, 4 to 6, one of those windows are going to verify. And East Tennessee, I think that there's something to be said. I showed you the plume viewer for BNA 3, 4 inches. Sorry, it says 4 here. Valid 12Z on the 16th. If you go to the National Model Blend, they have that down just a little bit to just below 3. That's the mean is the black line. So you can see all the different variant model inputs. There's a few that bust this out, but I think most, if you go back to all here, a lot of models, and this is for the airport, we have at least 1.5, 1.75 inches on the low end, and then some models say as much as 8. I don't think we get that much. I want to see if I can get Knoxville to pull up. Can I get Knoxville? I want to look at Knoxville as well. Knoxville, they're looking at knock on the door 3-4. This could be a system that produces 3 to 6 inches of snow for Memphis, Nashville, and Knoxville, with maybe 1 to 3 on Chattanooga, depending on what side of town you live on. But this is a rare event where pretty much all of Tennessee's in play. This is going to be a Tennessee snow and Arkansas snowstorm as well. Arkansas and Tennessee are the places you want to be for this winter storm. So I'm going to close Tropical Tidbits. I'm going to close this window of pivotal weather. Let's just look at a few more here. We looked at the NAM. I love pivotal weather. It's my favorite place to go. You have a nice pool of different modeling options to sample. And let's look at the Canadian. I don't think we've done the Canadian. So the Canadian at 12Z is the last one that initialized. And it also, if you look at Davis's snow accumulation map, it seems to be heavily based on what the Canadian is showing, interestingly enough. Sorry, I got to go out to, well, there might be some more snow actually, so I better not go too far. I think, yes, these snow totals are probably inflated a little bit, but it seems like the Canadian and the Euro would suggest that the heavier snow totals will be southeast of town. So if you're in the borough, you're probably going to get more snow than Clarksville. If you're hugging the Euro and the Canadian as your models of choice here, but it's going to be interesting to see what model wins out, because the most recent model that just initialized was the 0Z, and they have a sharp cutoff, which I don't buy. That seems like they're factoring in warm noses, and there's some model bias here with the NAM that I could say. So I'm not going to get too. And actually, let's go to Kachera. Yeah, I think Northwest Alabama, Northern Mississippi will get in on the fun and games with this. So if you're down there, I think you guys are going to score as well. I don't think the cutoff will be quite as sharp. So again, let's go back to that National Blend graphic. For some reason, I'm not able to access it, but I did find a screenshot from someone who can. And you could see this is a perfect Tennessee snow event, if I do say so myself. The devil's in the details, though. I'm not going to put out a snow map yet. I want to wait and do that till tomorrow. Again, no matter how much snow we get in our backyards, Sunday to Tuesday, we got some very cold and dangerously cold, bitterly cold temperatures coming down the pike. Thanks to that cross-polar flow that we're going to get plenty of Arctic continental air, and you don't see single digits that often. That's air temp. So single digits in the air, probably you're looking at negative teens for the wind chills, maybe negative single digits, but I would say let's set expectations to some negative 10 to 15 degree readings. They will vary, but I like that the National Weather Service in Nashville is calling to attention the cold air, wind chills. I'm going to go ahead and say it will probably be below zero for many of us. So yes, have a plan for your sensitive outdoor vegetation, wildlife. In some cases, make sure that your cars are well stocked. I would highly advise, if this forecast verifies, I would bulk at any transportation on the road unless you absolutely have to in case of emergency on Monday. Tuesday, I hope the roads are clear. We're just talking snow, not ice. So hopefully the roads are treated well by Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we'll have some sunshine burst out and help with the melting. But this could be a situation where we have snow on the ground for several days. And I'm not even going to get into any future snow threats. Let's get through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we could assess the potential for other events. Certainly some models are indicating we could see some more snow around this time next week. I'm just not going to be specific until we get this next storm out of the way. So certainly looks exciting and promising. We got no snow in 23, the calendar year. We got no measurable snow. Many of us were shut out. For me, I got about somewhere between a half inch and an inch of ice late January. So we had an event here, west side of Nashville, northwest side. But it wasn't that fun, to be honest with you. So this will be the most exciting winter event since December 22, and probably the most snow that we've seen since January of 22. So we're overdue. I'm excited. Hope you guys are too. I'll keep you posted as always if anything changes. Have a great weekend. Catch you on the fry as always. Peace.